Welcome to 2013 Celtics Media Day. This is the Garner Report on Celtics Blog and CLNS Radio. Welcome to Media Day. We are at Health Point in Waltham. They're tearing it down, as usual, with the Garner Report. We got to talk to everybody on the roster except for the camp invites. So I was sad we didn't get to meet a guy named Cameron. I was really excited to meet a guy named Cameron in real life. But we got to hear from everybody. You're going to hear from pretty much everybody on the roster today. But first off, we want to talk about the reactions to KG, Pierce, and Doc leaving. Jimmy, we heard kind of a little bit of like a weird, cryptic reaction from a lot of guys, but it wasn't kind of the whole outpouring love fest that we expected it to be.
No, I think maybe if you talk to them the day of or the day after, the week after, they'd be speaking through their emotions more. I think they've had a lot of time to sort of come to the realization that, okay, these guys aren't going to be back. You know, they're in our division now as the enemy. Everyone thinks that they're going to go to the finals or go deep into the playoffs, and nobody thinks anything of us. So I think, it's professional. It's their professionalism to just sort of get over that, get past it. They had a summer to get over it. Now they're back here, and they don't want to talk about last year's team or last year's players. They want to look forward and looking towards camp.
I think the most interesting responses came from Jeff Green and Rajon Rondo, because both of those two guys have been through trades like this before. Green got traded from Oklahoma City to Boston for Perkins, and that was a really big deal in both Boston and OKC. Mm-hmm. And Rondo, of course, lost his best friend in that trade when Perkins left. So both those guys have been through these things before. They know it's a business. They know what it's like. And I think that, the second time around, they were kind of used to it. And that's why they sounded so jaded, because they kind of are jaded about this stuff.
All right, let's hear how jaded they were.
I give Doc a lot of credit. Doc was a great coach to play for. He was very hard on me. He helped me become the player I am today. I give him a lot of credit. And now he's going to LA, so that's that. I actually landed in LA the night of the draft, and I got about 45 text messages come through the phone. And I thought I was traded, but you never know. So Paul and Kevin were traded. I actually talked to both of them, text messaging, and I talked to them on the phone. So it's part of the business. It's not the first teammates that I've been close to that have been traded away, Perk, Tony Allen. So it's part of the process. And, this is a fresh start for us with a new coach and an entire new team.
It'll be fun. It's not going to be like any extra emotions, flowing through my body because it's Kevin Garnett. I already played against him before when I was in Oklahoma. I just had the opportunity to get to know him on a more personal level when I was his teammate. But now it all reverts back to, him being on the opposing team. Now he's as he would say, I'm an enemy. Now he's my enemy. So that's how it is. But, we're trying to win the game.
So enemies aside, there's a lot of new friends here. Brad Stevens, most notably Evans. There's a lot of praise, a lot of really kind of kinship with Stevens very early on. But part of it is that there's so many new guys here today that it's not like there's kind of like a large contingent of guys going, it's really difficult to deal with this new coach coming in here because most of these guys are new themselves.
Yeah, there's no Pierce or Garnett left in this locker room. It's all new guys. It's all young guys. Avery Bradley's the second oldest tenured Celtic. It's everybody's new here, and they're all kind of feeling their way out together. And it's kind of a nice culture that, they all respect Stevens because he's had success at the college level, and he's also just kind of feeling it out just like they are. So it's a nice environment around here.
Yeah, I think Evan said pretty much what I was going to say. You've got a guy in Stevens that clearly has the support of upper management and his team, his players. For Danny Ainge to give him the contract that he gave him, the 6-year deal, that's saying like, hey, if things go south this year, secretly he's fine with that, but publicly he's going to say, where we support Stevens, we think this is the coach of our, not just the present but the future. And I think Stevens has a few young guys on his team that are they're going to be easy to buy into what he is going to be preaching out there on the court. I think Kelly Olynyk's a great rookie to have. I think he's a guy that's mature for as he coming into the league, and I think those players are going to help Stevens along the way. And it's going to be a lot of feeling it out. The lineup that we see opening night might not be the lineup that we see 2 weeks into the season. It's going to be just like I said, feeling out what works and what doesn't. And the same with Stevens.
Yeah, Stevens specifically mentioned that there's flexibility is going to be a big thing for this team.
Yeah.
Danny himself said that they don't even know what the starting lineup's going to be going into the year. I think the idea is that there's not really going to be a set starting lineup for most of the season. They're just kind of go with matchups and which players they really want to work at that given moment. But let's hear what Stevens and especially what Danny had to say about him.
The nice part about the Jeff Greens of the world, the Gerald Wallaces of the world, is that you can play a number of different people with them. They're not pigeonholed into a position. And I think the more guys like that you have, the better, because you can then, you could play Jeff and Gerald at the 2 and the 3. You could play them at the 3 and the 4. You could rotate them at the 3. You could rotate them at the 4. I mean, so you've got a lot of different options with those guys. And, the more versatile you are, again, the more pairings you can play with, usually the more minutes you play. Yeah, we've got a real idea of the style that we're going to implement and we're going to play, and the hope is that with Rondo's transition back to playing, being, some time away, and we don't know that time, but that he can get back into it pretty fluidly once he comes back. But I feel good about it. I feel good about the way that we're going to play defensively. I feel good about our plan of attack offensively. I think it will allow us to be versatile. I think it will allow us to move guys around when he comes back. And I think that's all been something that we've been spending a lot of time on the last 2 months.
Well, me and Brad have become best friends. So, like I said, we talk every day. We laugh and joke. We just had dinner the other night. So I'm going to help him. He's going to help me. And, he has my full support. And I told him from day one when he came to my camp that, I'm 100% behind him. And whatever he wants to do, whatever he wants to change, I have an open mind, and I'm ready to listen and just, be accountable for what he has to do for me.
There's a lot of jokes about some pitcher where we all looked miserable on the on the podium, but no, I'm happy to be here. I think at first it was like kind of a shock, and I never thought I'd be a Celtic, but after being around Coach Stevens, Danny Ainge, and all the people around the organization, my new teammates, it's been great so far. So.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy to be here, especially with these guys that are looking for a new start, first start somewhere. Coach Stevens, the first coach, the honor. I think the main thing that a lot of people have taken out of this is that I didn't want to come, I didn't want to be here, I didn't want to be a part of it. That's so far from the truth.
Just do what I can do to contribute to the team. I feel like me getting this early playing time on now is going to help me later on when they do need me, or if Rondo does get tired or something else happens. You never know. So me just taking care of right now and worrying about the future later. I can't control that. What I can control is going out there, today and tomorrow, and getting better in training camp. I'm a pass first point guard. It puts a smile on my face when my teammates score. When they hit an open 3 or they get a dunk, everybody's happy. But when everybody's scoring, the team morale is great.
I'd like to give him a 4-year contract extension. He's been great. He's been easy to work with. He's a very intelligent, hardworking guy that we thought that he was. He gets along with everybody. He's a great communicator. He's got a tough job ahead of him this year. I think that we have a lot of good players and no superstars. Other than Rajon, who won't be ready for the start of the season, but just managing the minutes with a lot of players could be a challenge for him. And it's not a perfect roster, and he's going to have to mix and match a lot of different things and be very creative and manage the egos.
So every media day has its fun moments. We got a few laughs here and there today, but one of the big things was kind of the grand, mysterious Rajon Rondo family dinner where he had all the owners and all the players and all the management, coaching staff over. So there's kind of a lot of fun jokes going on throughout the day with that. But new team, come on, new team.
No, it was fun.
New team, chemistry building. Maybe what kind of cheesy, ridiculous things can we see in that?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the whole dinner thing was weird. I don't know if it would actually happen or if it was just kind of like a PR stunt for them to talk about it. It started out as like a dinner for the whole team, and then it was like, oh, ownership and coaches and a couple of players showed up. Most of them were out of town. Like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
But they're actually trying to make an effort to make a statement that, yeah, we're building a team here, and Rondo's a leader, and like, at least if they're paying lip service to that is something.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jordan Crawford wasn't there, though.
if Jordan Crawford's out of town, that really ruins everything I know. But I mean, the fact that they're trying to build a whole new culture with no Garnett, no Pierce, and it's just a whole new identity, they're trying, and that's respectable.
The one word they used, a lot of those guys used, was the word fun. And I'm pretty sure last year Kevin Garnett specifically said basketball isn't fun.
Yeah,
So
fun is not allowed.
I think that there's a whole new, just sort of like mentality. It's a younger team, like we said. You've got a lot of guys that are just a couple years in the league, or no years in the league, and this is a brand new experience for a lot of these guys, and they're just trying to make the most of a situation that's clearly not ideal in terms of a competitive standpoint. I mean, these guys, let's be honest, they're not going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. It would be a slight shock to me if they ended up as an 8th seed. I don't see that. So if they can have fun along the way and make the games interesting, not only for the fans but for themselves, and they can stay involved and they can be competitive, and that's pretty much all you can ask for this year.
All right, well, let's see some of the fun, because the fun's not going to come from winning. There's a kind of hints that were dropped there that they're probably not going to be winning a ton of games this year. They're probably okay with that. They're not going to come out and say, hey, we're going to win 25 games this year. But this is kind of the opportunity for them to develop some chemistry by having a fun time in a losing situation. So let's see the tape.
I think the dinner went well. You know, I had to pay for the bill, but other than that, Wick was there. All the coaches were there. A couple of players were there. A couple of them were out of town, but overall, it was a nice dinner. We got to know one another. We shared some old stories. We shared some things guys are looking forward to doing. And just overall, a great dinner. And everyone loved the menu that I picked out.
What was that?
It was a disclosed location.
I can't say.
Yeah, we had a little bit of everything on the menu, and like I said, I think Jerry did the most. It was a good dinner. It was a good dinner.
What did they serve for dinner?
Oh, I actually didn't attend. So, yeah, I didn't.
Did you have a conflict?
You asked my personal question, man. Come on, man.
No, I'm continue to, take the words of Kevin Garnett and be an asshole, be aggressive, and, just, continue to improve my game this year, next year, and next year after that. So I just got to keep working.
Did you say
Yes, I said asshole.
Just wanted to make sure.
How was writing the team? Was it as bad for you as it is for all of us?
I enjoyed it, so I don't know if it's bad for you, then. No, I'm just kidding. What's not to like? No, mine. They must have Febrezed mine.
Well, you're 7 feet tall too, so those things probably don't accommodate.
Yeah, it's tough if you have to stand out. If you get a seat, then it's a smoother ride. Yeah.
Do you need 2 seats in those?
Yeah, or you need a seat where you're like in the aisles, like on the planes, where it's tough.
All right, well, that does it for us from Media Day. We'll be back with you next Monday for the first preseason game. I can't believe basketball's already here. And we'll see if they lose by 30. It'll be fun. So for Jimmy Toscano and Evans Clinchy, my name is Jared Weiss. This is the first edition of the Gardner Report for the 2013-2014 season. We'll see you next week.